and Christmas decorations everywhere. I was like, wow, okay, it's Christmas. I think the dryness and Hamatani weather that makes me feel
Comes
like
with
Christmas
it.
hasn't quite hit
Yeah,
yet.
but it's hitting very hard in the north already.
Right.
Because
No,
I spoke with my dad. He said, I said, sorry, there's still rain falling in
yeah,
Lagos.
exactly. It's not dry at all. It's still very wet
very
and
moist.
yeah, so it's not feeling for me quite like, you come out and everywhere is dry and you see the fog, then you feel like you're in that sort of Christmas season. We're not quite there
We're
yet.
not there
But I
yet.
mean, we're more than halfway through November, so technically
We're supposed
we
to
should
be
get
there.
into the Christmas mood. Are we dirty in this December?
My darling sister, outside is expensive.
It is incredibly expensive. I
If
know.
you want to dirty the December for my behalf,
Netflix. No, I've been told that Netflix and chill is not what I think it is. So
yes,
eat
so
your
my
food and watch
darling,
Netflix.
because they changed the meaning for me. I say, so I didn't know that was the meaning.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, but I mean, it's we thank God. The year is coming, gradually to to the end of the year, and it's just a lot of things that that sometimes you just wish certain things would have just been like that before. But hey, we're here.
And we're thankful.
We're thankful, honestly, because again, you would also look back and say, if not for God, it would have been worse than
Absolutely.
where it is. So just be thankful.
You can always be thankful for where we are, because it can always be worse.
It could be worse. It could be worse, honestly. But it's a good day. I'm grateful. Things are falling in place. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So today, what is the conversation? Something around cyber.
Yeah,
security.
cyber fraud and cyber
fraud,
security.
right? Especially around the festive season. So as we approach, today's quote is, as we approach the Christmas season, we should all be on our guard and take the practical cyber-aware actions to keep us safe as we work, shop, and socialize online. I mean, this is a very apt quote in line with the conversation today. So the festive season is a time for joy, celebration, and unfortunately, also a prime opportunity for cyber criminals to exploit unsuspecting individuals. So it's exactly 38 days to Christmas. Yeah. And today we will be discussing the topic avoiding cyber fraud this Christmas season with Morakinyo and Animashaun, right? But first, let's quickly run off on a break. When we come back from that break, we want to see what we found in today's news.
For upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
All right, you're still watching Ways. World Prematurity Day, observed annually on November 17th, aimed to raise global awareness of preterm birth and its impact on babies, families, and healthcare system. This year's theme, Small Actions, Big Impact. Immediate skin-to-skin care for every baby everywhere, highlights the critical importance of early skin-to-skin contact. Kangaroo mother care, that's what they call it now, for preterm babies and low birth weight babies. So happy pre-maturity day.
It's not the easiest of things to have preterm babies. A friend of mine, in fact, a few friends of mine had triplets, and I mean, the whole being in neo-NICU, it's tough. And then, you eventually get them strong enough to get out of the incubator. It's just a lot.
It's a lot
of work, yeah.
So now my sister with twins, they came out preterm, right? And imagine you've had the baby, or you go, the baby is still in the hospital, but every time I see them now, I say, wow.
You don't remember, right? Like,
you don't even remember.
The development and,
technology.
the support and yeah, it's come a long way. So
technology. There's a niece of mine, she was born preterm. In fact, hers was even so, I think she was like 7 months or so, or 6 months. If I'm correct, right? So she stayed in the hospital for quite a while. In fact, they couldn't find the vein, so they had to pass through her head, then the feet,
the sole of the foot,
to feed her. I say, wow. Every time I see her, I say, whoa.
Yeah, I know it is a lot of work, but
it's a lot of work.
I mean, I think these days, one of the things that mentioned, the skin-to-skin contact, I think that is so
amazing.
Yeah, that's the word, right? Because I mean, in those days, you have a baby, they put the baby in a bassinet next to you. But when my son was born, literally, they just cleaned him up and plopped him on my chest.
Oh, yes.
And this tiny thing just there, asleep. For the whole day. He was actually on my chest the entire day. So he was born around 1:10 in the afternoon. And he was on my chest until about 11 p.m. at night. Before, I think they had to go and draw blood from the sole of their foot. They have to take them away. That's when they took him away. That's the first time. But the entire day he was on my chest. Me, I was, you become like a bed and you're just lying there like,
okay.
What's going on?
Did this one happen to you in the hospital? So when I had my, and I think it's even for both children, like literally in the middle of the night I wake up. I want to check if they're still breathing.
I know.
Like literally,
we go through
motherhood is a blessing, and I wish for everyone going through maybe the wait period and all of that. I know your blessing will come. Absolutely. I watched this lady. I had not been following her, but I follow Kitchen Muse. I think maybe that's why I saw her feed. The Diary of a Kitchen something.
Oh, Diary of a Kitchen Lover.
Diary of a Kitchen Lover. I watched her story. It was so beautiful. I cried. Like I was sobbing and watching the video. I was just crying. I said, "Oh my God, this was so." I didn't know she was having trouble having a baby. Eventually the girl is here. I was so. It was such a beautiful story to watch. I mean, skin to skin is very, very effective, extremely effective, and it's even for babies that are not preterm.
Absolutely, because mine wasn't, but it was.
It's a must that once the baby comes out, the first contact is they put the baby on your chest.
Absolutely.
So happy World Prematurity Day. So what do you find for us, Uti?
So my story is around the closures that have been happening on with Third Mainland Bridge. So I mean, I think it was a few weeks ago they had mentioned that the roads were going to be closing, and then for some reason the bridge never closed. They kept changing the plans basically. So I think eventually the bridge stayed open, and then they closed off the ramp, the one that leads to Yaba. I think that's the Adekunle ramp, that if you were coming from the island going towards the mainland, on that side they had closed off the ramp. But then Lagos State government has now announced earlier today that there will be a temporary closure. So far it has been closed if you're coming, like I said, from the island to the mainland. The ramp, as Adekunle going into Yaba, that's the one that then connects you to Herbert Macaulay, has been closed. But now they've announced that it will be closed both inward and outward. So both into Yaba and out of Yaba. It will be closed from Sunday, 19th of November for 5 weeks until Friday, December 8th. And this basically, they're closing it to make sure that they're able to complete the ongoing construction works in the axis within the record time of 5 weeks. So the Lagos Commissioner for Transportation, Oluwaseun Oshiemi, mentioned this and has said that it will take 5 weeks. So they've put, the story goes on to talk about the alternative routes depending on where you're coming from, but it pretty much means you can either connect through Carter Bridge, go down Ikorodu Road, or Carter Bridge and go through the Oyingbo axis to get to Herbert Macaulay. But the information is all in the story. But the main thing is if you are trying to get to Yaba or out of Yaba, the ramps are closed.
You know, say I don't see Third Mainland Bridge close, Third Mainland Bridge close. I don't wonder where did they close because I've been passing the Third Mainland Bridge.
They kept changing it. So initially it was going to close. Then they came back and said, oh, it'll be closed at night and at weekends. They never closed at weekends. I mean, I don't know if it closed at night.
It did not because I passed there at 1 a.m., 2 a.m. and it was still...
So it didn't close. So we did that for probably like a week and a half, and then like one morning I was going to Yaba and the ramp was closed. So yeah, I guess.
Oh, okay. So since we were talking...
Big bird.
Yes, so the big bird. Since we're talking cyber what's it called?
Cyber fraud
and just security and all of that. I thought this was an interesting conversation to have. You know how they make mouth on top behind keyboard? It's a case of I don't catch you. So I don't know if they can play the video, if the video is available. You know. Is the video available?
Your full name?
I'll say your full name.
My name is Solomon Idowu, and I'm a citizen of Chicago, United States. I live in Chicago. If anything happens to Shehu in Chicago, I'll be responsible. If it comes from me, which it would never. Now,
After you, what do you mean?
If anything happens to Shehu, I'm responsible.
Because of what? Because of what?
Oh, because of some miscommunication.
It's not a miscommunication. In my life,
threaten his life.
Exactly.
And now we are at the Kedja airport. If anything happens to him, I'll be responsible. Can we be friends?
We can't be friends.
No.
I like Joko. He said, can we be friends? Say, nope. We can't be. The guy they waste time. So if I don't know if the other video is available.
What had happened?
So what had happened was, I think this particular guy had said some things online. He can't be like, say, go catch up today. Shehu Kuti and him, they were at the airport.
Putting stuff online
about Shehu Kuti. You know, and Shehu Kuti was now at the airport. And he said, today, I don't catch you today. He said, you are not going to fly out of this country because you threatened my life. It was a death threat. It's like your mother is sharp online. You can't see the person. So the guy say, I'm going to make some phone calls. He was bragging at the first video. If let's say the content and say, guy,
you're still in Lagos.
You're still in Lagos. He said, I'm a citizen of the United States. I live in Chicago. I'm going to make some phone calls. They make mouth. So this was the second video. After, if you like say they don't humble the guy. No, but so the thing I'm trying to say is that you find a lot of people online.
Yeah.
You know, cyberbullying, you know, they talk about
Twitter streets of savagery.
I'm telling you, you need to really be careful what you say online about people. Because sometimes you don't know where you go meet the person.
Collect hot slap. 1 or 2.
1 or 2, based on 1 or 2. Like literally, she would just, and you know, she would not spare the guy. He said, nah. He said, can we be friends for what? No. He didn't even say, okay, because the guy is there. Because the guy was even trying to be careful. He didn't want to say. He said, say what you said. You know? Okay, I think this is the first video.
Nobody's taking your passport. You have cases in this country. You're not going anywhere. Hello. Stay away from me. You won't go home.
Yes, I'm going home.
Hello.
This is not going to end well.
That guy tried to
Park which guy? Don't make me make phone calls. I'm going home. Hold on 1 second.
Catch you.
I'm telling you, Shehu now called the guy. Say that death threat guy. I don't catch up. He said, don't make me make phone calls. But he has apologized, right? He's apologized, and you know, the only lesson I'm taking from this is don't think because you're behind a keyboard means that you can just do anything. Anything can hook you somewhere. So just be very, very careful when you actually talk online and respond online. Like that blessing CEO now. That's calling all of us.
All you Benin people.
All of us Benin people. We are coming for you, blessing CEO. When I saw a video, I said,
your ancestors, your oracles, everything.
But you know the funny thing, in all honesty, and to her defense,
there's some truth to it.
There's a lot of truth to it. You know, it might come off very harsh. But I remember, I think I've shared this story several times.
It's the generalization of it, I think.
Absolutely, it's the generalization that is the problem. Yeah. But I would say to you that one of the main reasons my father left Benin as a child to say he wanted to raise and live, raise his children and live in a saner place was because of that, that Italo thing. It was a lot. So, I mean, there's some level of truth in what she's saying, right? It's just that a lot of people will not want to accept it, but it's the truth. A lot of times, people are linked to that lifestyle, especially they come from my fellow Bini people. It is where we accept it, but we are coming for you, blessing. See you.
let's hear whether Austin from Benin
we will agree. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back from that break, let's discuss cyber fraud.
guys, you're welcome to another edition of Plus Event, and I remain your host, Ifeoluwa Oshukeye.
Your absence isn't an excuse anymore, as Plus Event is all you need. As
blown away, I want to be wild. This is 11 years of doing it.
I'm surrounded by so much positivity.
No, it's okay.
Yo, what's up, my people? It's your boy Starboy Terry. You're watching
Plus Event on Plus TV.
Stay glued to Plus TV Africa every Saturday and Sunday, 4:30 p.m. West African time.
Now, the festive season is a time of increased online activity, financial transactions, and emotional vulnerability, making it a prime target for cyber criminals. Avoiding cyber fraud during this season is crucial to protect against financial losses, damage to credit history, and emotional distress. By following simple precautions such as using strong passwords, avoiding suspicious links, and shopping from reputable websites, including reputable websites, individuals can significantly reduce their risk to becoming victims. So today we're asking, how can we avoid cyber fraud, this festive season? Now, please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. So I'll bring in Morakinyo in a minute. Uti, but quickly, what are you doing to just avoid all these things?
When they send you an email, don't click delete. If you are not sure, delete. If you are sure you are not sure, report and delete. Don't click on anything. I mean, that's for me, that's what it has always been. I think if it sounds too good to be true, it is too good to be true. If it's a pop-up, it's probably dangerous. I mean, for me, that's just what it is. Look out for me, those little things like, are there woeful spelling and grammatical errors? is this from a Nigerian, sorry, is this from an African prince? Is there somebody that really needs, I mean, there's lots of different examples. I mean, these ones are sort of the more sort of comical ones, but then what is it called now? Particularly for people who work in organizations, emails are hijacked. The information that you even, what's the word now? You put genuinely on social media. Somebody goes in there to farm information and then pretends to be your boss or pretends to be your CEO. So CEO fraud is another one. I mean, there's just all sorts of tactics. One thing I know for sure is that the fraudsters aren't sleeping. They are coming out with new ways every day. I mean, you've probably gotten an email to say your Apple password was, what's it called now? Your Apple password has expired or your package is coming. All sorts of phishing type attacks that they try. And that's not even then to say, for example, on the financial side, if you're going to shop at this time of the year, I think a lot of us are used to shopping online now, whether it's via social media or via the internet itself, making sure that the site is secure. So sometimes you see the little padlock sign or you see the HTTPS. These are just the little things that you can look out for. When you are shopping on Instagram, Instagram is one of the easiest places to get scammed, because sometimes people see deals and it's really, really good. Or it's too good to be. My sister fell victim. Yes. It was too good to be true. Exactly. How can they tell you snails? I know a couple of people that are falling for that. My God! You know? So how can they tell you snails? This, yeah. That? It was so ridiculous, the price. Absolutely. If it sounds too good to be true. And then even on social media as well, sometimes you have to be sure that the page is genuine. So technically, I always, when I go onto a page, I try and sort of search, is there anybody I know that follows that page that I can maybe ask if they shopped with them before? Pages that obviously have very few posts and few followers, be careful. We're not saying it's fraudulent, but just be careful. And the ones that sometimes I find something, I think, oh, this is really nice. And then you go and search. I always Google things and then you see, what's that place? Nairaland is always linked to scam. It's a scam. Beware. So those just checks that you can do to be careful before. Money is hard to come by these days. The economy is not smiling. There are debit alerts outside everywhere. Don't let debit alerts meet you inside your house.
Absolutely. Let me bring in Maraki Animashao is an experienced cybersecurity professional, an entrepreneur with a proven track record of successfully delivering projects. He is the subject matter expert, open banking, digital transformation, situational awareness and cyber threat intelligence, advanced threat attack patterns, and quantitative security risk analysis. You see, say we got the best, because as a day like this, you know, and he's joined us live in studio. Thank you so much, Marakinyo.
Thank you.
This is your second time on Waves, right?
Yes.
Well, you're meeting a new team today.
Yeah.
But I mean,
this call it as beautiful.
Oh wow! Thank you so much.
We'll take it.
We'll take it. I mean, like Uti rightly summed it up, right? This is the season where everybody's trying to shop online. Everybody's trying to just quickly get things done and all of that. And there's a lot of, what's it called? I think it's a busy season right now. So this is also the season where cyber people, they are out, you know, because they really want to close the year with a bang so that they can dirty the December well, right, on other people's expense. So, I mean, if we're talking about protecting ourselves, right, you know, becoming a lot more cyber security aware, to say these are the things I should just avoid this year, what are the things we'll be looking at? I mean, yesterday and today, my bank has not worked, you know. So at some point I was scared. I said, what's happening? I thought it was my issue. So I went to the banking hall. It was same thing. You know, I'm now hearing things like that. So in my head, I'm just doing thing. Are you sure somebody has not gone to attack these people's server or something, right? Literally, like, this is the period where some of these things will just be happening. So literally, if we want to say we want to be very conscious and avoid some of these traps, because it's not a thing of if, when they come, because they will come. This season is definitive, it will come. So how do we go about that?
Okay, thank you very much, Uti. So first of all, I want to say that, Uti is like an expert.
Oh yes.
You can see that she's serious about this business of not losing money to scammers.
I know.
You know, because
you can't catch me.
A lot of the things she said makes a lot of sense, and those are some of the things that people ought to know But unfortunately, you find out that a lot of people don't know. And continuously, it keeps rising. You think that with time, that the number of people that fall victim will drop. But instead, what you see is a spike. And from last year to this year, there's been an increase again.
Wow.
Okay, so there are some statistics that boggle the mind. So for instance, last year, December, 2.5 billion naira was lost to cyber fraud. I'll repeat that, 2.5
billion.
I was going to say billion with a B.
Yes, with a big B. Okay, and then for those of us that are in the industry, it's a standard joke that even those figures are underreported.
Yeah.
Okay, so we expect that the real figures will be like ×2, maybe ×3.
Wow.
And that was just December last year. Okay, the interesting thing is that Christmas is, most people can't feel it in the air this year. But for those of us in the cybersecurity space and cyber fraud space, we're already seeing it. How do we see it? From statistics. Already, the figures have started climbing. Number of incidents, number of activities, everything is just started increasing. And usually, even if I don't know what season we are in, if you bring me those statistics,
I can tell you that this is
Christmas
December just by the numbers. Oh wow!
Yeah, I can
is
tell you
that bad?
Yes, it is. You know, you see increases of, it can be less than 40 to 50% increase in the activity. You know, phishing emails will increase, and news for you. The days of
wrong error, grammatical error. You know, I was just going to tell you
people
that
are using AI now. So don't think that it's only people that are doing good that are using AI. They're using ChatGPT to craft
very clean email.
Very clean email.
That somebody like Uti that will read it eloquently.
And
it will speak to your soul.
Yeah, it will resonate so well you feel like,
this can't be.
You know? So a lot is happening. I always tell people that those that are involved in cybercrime, they are not part-timers. A lot of people make that error. There are people who, for whom this is their business.
Absolutely.
You know, they resume, they strategize, they invest in this business, and of course, they are getting good returns. So that's the state of play, right?
So the question that I want to ask and launch into, and I love that you mentioned ChatGPT, because when we talk about, in fact, I was listening to a news report today that was talking about how pressure is being put on social media platforms to actually force their creators to say when content is AI generated, because now it's available to everybody. You know, whether it's something, I think it was in America, so it was like a year to the elections a few days ago, and they were talking about how they were showing lots of content where part of the videos never happened, they were all AI generated. So when we talk about cyber fraud, what does that AI technology, what does it open us up to? We've talked about all the ones we're used to, but what new risks should we be looking out for now that AI is in the game? So
AI brings a lot of advantage to the defenders, okay? So before, the defenders didn't have a chance, really. Okay, so the way I like to equate it is it's like a football game. You have one goalkeeper, you have 10 people trying to score against that goalkeeper. His chances are not very high, you know. So the attackers are more than the defenders, okay? But with AI now, what it does is it gives the defenders an opportunity to be able to do more in their defense. Okay, so if let's say 1,000 different people are trying to attack a facility or a data service I'm responsible for, I have to try and defend against that 1,000. Maybe I have a staff of 5, 10 to defend against 1,000. It's going to be pretty hard. But with AI now, we can actually deploy AI and use AI as staff. So what AI does is that AI will do the preliminary filtering, and it has the capacity without getting tired, without having issues with his wife.
Yes, no emotional.
No, nothing. So AI every day, AI gives you the same level of consistency, you know, and is able to, you know, actually point you out to the things that you should pay attention to. So all the things that we would normally as experts have to filter through first to determine, okay, this one makes sense to look at and all of that. AI does the initial job, and then what we now need to pay attention to is what has actually been flagged, you know. So it makes our work easier. Yeah, but as I said, we are not the only ones using AI.
As you they use that to your opponents.
So they are using it for, you know, it's cyber fraud and cyber threats are getting more sophisticated. So for someone like Uti, I'm sorry to tell you that we are getting to a point where all those things you thought you knew and you could do, it won't work. Because the level of sophistication has gotten to a point where you definitely need to be an expert, more or less, in order to be able to say, this one is the one that is, this one is not. Because it's so close now. They are not going to send you a phishing mail now that's just out of the blue. It's going to be personalized. It's going to be from Uwa to Uti. If you get an email from Uwa to Uti, you're likely to read it. And that email will have some snippets of a conversation that the two of you had. So again, they do a lot of that kind of stuff, and they put you in a situation where it's actually very difficult for you to know. So for most of us, what we have to do is, yes, we are the first level of defense. You must have that level of awareness, at least so that you won't be one of the low-hanging fruits. But beyond that, you also need to use technology. And there are different technologies now that are available. That
Okay,
make it
awesome.
a bit easier.
Awesome. We're going to touch on that technology, but let's just go out on a very short break. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Because I want... All right, thanks for staying with us. Now, if you just tuned in, we're having an amazing chat, right, on avoiding cyber fraud this Christmas season with Morakinyo Animashao. Now, please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. Now, I mean, when I heard you talk about you are using technology, they said that they use technology. I'm just thinking in my head, where's the escape route for the common people like us that are not like Oti? So how do we start to access some of these tools that you've talked about? Is it something you can readily probably install on your phone, or would you need to now have like proper consultations with experts like you to say, please, come and help me put up a structure? I mean, again, I would like to also touch on small businesses, right? How do they protect themselves, from all of these, frauds and all of that? What would be the quick things to do? Okay,
so the first thing you need to do are the things Uti said. Okay.
Know all those basics.
You have to do those basics. If you don't do those basics, then we can't build on top of that. But after all that's been done, then you need to go to the next stage, Because again, the way I like to look at it is, when you do those basics, it's like you wound up your car, you're not leaving your door open. So those are the basics you're doing. Okay, but beyond that, if there's somebody that's bent on getting into your car, then you need a higher level of security to deal with those.
So like put bulletproof windows and all of that.
Those are, and then that again will depend on the kind of assets you have. There's no point, raising the bar when it's not necessary. Okay, so if you know that you've got assets that are valuable, you've got your bank account has maybe a couple of millions and stuff like that, then you need to begin to use technology. So there are technologies, for instance, that will allow us to tell the difference between Uti and Uwa. So even if Uwa picks up Uti's phone, has Uti's credentials, and tries to use it, there's technology that will say, yeah, everything is ticking boxes, but it's not
still not Uti.
Okay, so there are things on our phone, and thank God for that, for them, gyrometers and some other things on our phone that actually capture data that is specific to each of us. Most of us do not realize these things. Unique behavior, the way you type. Someone like me, I'm two-handed. Someone else is like this. All of those things are captured. And there's now technology that can take all of that data and use it for the sake of cyber security. Takes that data and is able to differentiate between Uwa and Uti. So if you have something like that, running at the background, one of the things it does for you is that even if somebody gets your credentials, they still won't be able to clean out your account.
But this interesting thing you just said about phone and tracking, sometimes when I see those things, when I download certain apps and they'll tell you, would you like us to, I say no. Everything I say, don't allow, because I feel like if they start to track me like that, yes, it will be good, it will be helpful. So, but I just feel like that's too much, for you to just be knowing every single thing that I'm doing on that. So most of the time, I decline all those kinds of requests. Is it a good thing?
And it's wise. Okay, it's wise to decline unless you're sure you want to use it. So if something is just asking you, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this, you should decline unless you know specifically what purpose that service is going to be used for and you know the benefit that you expect from it. Okay, so that's what I tell people. I do the same thing you do, I decline. But if I understand that, okay, this is the purpose why this is being asked, and it will be used for this purpose, and these are the benefits for me, then I'll accept. Okay, so some of those data, the interesting thing is, okay, there are some services that we are building, for instance, that take your data but cannot identify you as an individual. Okay, so the data is anonymized. It just knows that, let me put it this way, it knows that the person that has the data is not the person that's using it, but it doesn't know who the person that has the data is. It doesn't know that it's Uti or Uwa, but it just knows that it's not the same person that owns this that's using it. Okay, so those are the kind of data. So for instance, there is data regarding even your phone, your device, every device has a fingerprint. Okay, so if somebody, for instance, takes of the device, the SIM
card. So it's tied to the SIM card.
So it knows that this SIM card that was being used on a service previously, the fingerprint of the device has changed. And then if the fingerprint of the device has changed, why has it changed? Then it will block that service. Okay. And with that kind of thing, people that lose their phones and they remove their SIM cards, toss their phone somewhere, use their SIM cards for transactions, those kind of things can be stopped.
Fly.
I mean, it's so interesting. It just shows the amount of thought. I think we all don't stop to think about how much our lives are embedded in these devices and how much of our data is in these devices. I don't think we actually stop to think about it. There was a movie I watched a few days ago. I think it's called Missing. And this young girl's mother went to Vietnam or one of these countries with a partner, and they didn't turn up at the airport. And this girl tracked it was a very interesting movie. Through her Google, through their accounts, she was seeing the locations,
Find my phone,
where they went. And I mean, it was literally things in Google that I literally was watching the movie and going, pause.
Wait to check on Google.
This thing is tracking me to this extent, and it was there. And I thought to myself, wow. So when you're saying all of this now, right, there's privacy concerns on one side, and then there's protection. So I have to find the balance that I'm comfortable with. And I think that, like you said, is tied to the type of assets I want to protect. But from a layman's perspective, I know that we've long gone past the standard, what's that thing now? Is it antivirus software? So what kinds of tools or solutions are out there? Because I guess that's the world that you are in, building different solutions of different kinds. For the average layman that's just trying to protect my small passwords and my phone, my laptop, what is out there that is the basic minimum that every viewer should at least have?
Okay, so if you're using a device as a basic minimum, you should have some kind of, we'll come back to that word, antivirus. Okay, because again, that's one of the channels where compromises happen. And you should have some kind of anti-phishing. Okay, so you've trained yourself to be able to reject. But all you need to do is click one.
Absolutely.
Okay, but an anti-phishing will recognize even that one that you will not recognize and block it. Okay, so you need an anti-phishing. In addition to that, you need another level of security, like the one I described, if you use your device for banking. Okay, so if you use your device for banking, you just want to make sure that even if somebody by any chance gets your credentials, that there's still another layer of defense that prevents them from gaining access to
Is my eyeball not enough? because I have activated what do they call a biometric signing. It's my eyeball not. They come and pluck out my eyeball to use it. So that's what I'm saying.
So again, there are different tiers in the society. You have a phone that has.
Oh, okay, that is enabled. Yes, true.
So if somebody gets your phone, they can't even get. They can't even get into your phone to use your phone. But there are lots more people that have phones.
The pool, yeah.
So let me tell you one thing that I'm uncomfortable about. So, password managers.
it makes me uncomfortable. You know, we've gotten to the level now where when you're even trying to set a password, they'll give you this long, complicated password. I mean, I'm afraid that if I accept that password, I know I'm never going to remember it. And then if for some reason I can't get into that password manager, I mean, that's just the end of it. But
tell me you're one of those people that use the same password.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. But I have enough systems around how I create passwords. So password managers, again, in a world where everything can be hacked, how safe are they?
Because if they just go into the manager,
a lot of people, rely on those things. You know, whether there's
I don't rely on
Google and all of those things, right? That have password managers, and they do make life quite easy. I mean, in today's world, everything has a password, and how many are you going to remember? Yeah. And like you said, don't use one for everything. It's not that easy. You run out of names, you run out of children's names, you run out of everything. You can run out of. I mean, so sometimes password managers make life easy, but it is uncomfortable.
Okay, so
and is it really safe?
Are good. They are safe, but even there is a company called Okta. It's an ID verification company, multi-million, hundreds of million in size. You know, the company got hacked.
God will bless you.
Okay, it's a company.
Did they not have password manager?
No, they are
the password manager.
They are the owner.
Okay,
that's my point.
So again, if you don't want to be hacked, if you don't want to be scammed, go offline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but in this late
so I saw one, but guess what?
Who goes offline?
I saw one small boy. I went to the bank. This boy is young. He should be in his 20s or something. The boy was telling his colleague that no, you know they do online banking.
Oh yeah.
He said you don't even get ATM card. He said anytime when you need money,
he goes to the bank.
How do you want to live like that?
So there is no 100% prevention. That's one of the things we must
accept, right?
There's no 100% prevention. So what we always advise is multi-layer. There's no one thing that can prevent. So you're trying to do something, one layer. If this one fails, hopefully this one will work.
Stand.
Okay, so that's really, I mean, even the biggest companies, those that spend billions of dollars on cybersecurity, they know that you can't go for 100% prevention. You've got to layer it, you know, and expect that all of them won't fail at the same time.
Let me just ask one question. Because bankers, they don't like this question. Because is our money safe? Because truth be told, when I couldn't log into my bank app, I say, Father Lord. No, I'm just asking. Because you know why I'm saying this? We have a huge brain drain in the tech world. Do you understand? In fact, when I saw that, I felt like, you just say these people, they've not lost all their entire, because, I mean, I literally heard that there was a particular bank, all their entire IT department, they just jackpot. So that's what we're suffering now, right? So I'm just worried that, are we safe, in terms of like, again, because most of the transactions we do are on, I literally sit in my office every day and I'm paying a lot of money out to different vendors. Do you get what I'm saying?
That's what most people
so because it has really brought ease. But like you rightly said, as you are trying to make my life easy, somebody is trying to make my life difficult. We're using the same technology, right? So how are we sure? What kind of comfort would you give us or guarantee? Do you think the banks are actually taking those extra precautions? Again, because of the brain drain we've been having in that tech industry, in the tech world, and again, because of the high level of sophistication that these cyber guys are coming out with on a daily basis.
Okay, so to be fair to the banks, they're investing massively.
Okay.
Investing massively in cybersecurity, investing massively in fraud management. But you see, the dynamics of the present day transactions, the way people do transactions now, has changed. And the approach the banks are using is still the same old approach, which is build a moat around your infrastructure. Defend your infrastructure as much as possible. But they are forgetting that now their perimeter has been extended to Uti's device, extended to OA's device. So you don't need to get into the bank's infrastructure before you can gain access. All you need to do
is get into my device. Oh, wow.
OA's device. Or it is device. That's why we've been saying for a while now that the approach has to change. Okay, the approach where you're just continuing to build more around the bank and protect the bank It's not working. Okay, 2.5 billion in 1 month last year. That's enough reason to tell you that there's something that's not working and something has to change. Now, what the cyber criminals realize is there are different tiers of cyber criminals. There are those that they are too big to go after people like us. They want to do $1 billion transaction, $1 billion. But there are some that realize that there's an easy life, and the easy life is to pursue
money like
people
us.
like you and get $1,000 here, $2,000 here, and aggregate it, and that's what they are doing. So the biggest targets right now are actually consumers, and they are going after them. You send a phishing campaign to 1 million, even if your success rate is 0.1%.
It's a good success for you.
You have still done good business. Okay, so what we need now is solutions that are now focused more on the consumer side and looking at these consumers and saying, you know what, these guys are now the weak links. There is a need to do something concerning this weak link and around them. Okay, and for me, I think the starting point is really very easy. Awareness. There's got to be awareness. Absolutely. We ran out of time. We're having fun. Wow. Quickly, Uti, the message.
So this one, of course, from Daniel Ilo says, good evening, my dear beautiful sisters of ways, avoiding cyber fraud this Christmas season. Cyber fraud now is in vogue and trending and could be avoided. Your guest is not far away from the truth by saying that my dear beautiful sister Uti is an expert in this topic. She made mention of not clicking on anything and avoiding Instagram crime. That is very key, and I totally agree. Another thing is that we should prove to these cyber fraudsters that we are smarter than them. If we do not ask questions and fall a victim, we do so at our own risk and detriment. A word is enough for the wise. God will help us all not to fall a victim for such circumstances this Christmas period. Your guest is right. You ladies are looking good and beautiful. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you, Daniel. Hello. But thank you so much. I think we should bring you back because I love the conversation.
The topic is a live one. Every time it grows, you come back and tell us what's new.
Because I'm telling you, I'm still coming. My bank, I'm still checking. Every day I'm checking. I want to make sure that my account balance. But thank you so much, Marky, and we had a fantastic time with you. Thank you, Uti. Had a good Friday. Yes, so now before we go, ensure you follow us across all our social media handles. So at PlusTvAfrica, you can interact with us further, drop your comments, and most importantly, follow all our engagements on social media, like, share, and invite your families and friends to watch and follow the conversation. Now, if you missed our quote for today, here it is again. It says, as we approach the Christmas season, we should all be on our guard and take the practical cyber-aware actions to keep us safe as we work, shop, and socialize online. Very simple. We'll see you guys on Monday at 8 p.m. as we bring another great conversation to your screen. Ciao.
And now, let's join ace broadcaster Mamode Akuga as he takes us inside the Niger Delta.
Hello out there and welcome to the program. It's Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region. I'm your regular host, Mamode Akuga. Supporters of Governor Doyediri, who has been declared winner of the just concluded Bayelsa State governorship election, have described his victory as well-deserved. The governor's re-election, they say, comes as no surprise, judging from the laudable achievements of his prosperity government, which came to power on the 14th of February 2020.
Hours before the long-awaited results from Brass and Southern Niger local government areas were announced, Governor Doyediri, candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the just concluded Bayelsa State governorship election, was having a comfortable lead. And when finally he was declared winner of the election, the governor's camp went into a frenzy of excitement. Governor Diri's supporters said, having brought about a revolution in infrastructure and human capacity development across 3 senatorial districts of Bayelsa State since he came to power in February 2020, his re-election didn't come as a surprise.
The bridge, the roads, the empowerment, the 200 million every month for the age did not go in vain. It was a reward for the governor.
His Excellency, the governor is loved by all and sundry. The entire John nation is agog by reason of this victory.
In the just concluded November 11 governorship election, Governor Diri polled 175,196 votes to beat his closest rival, Chief Timipri Silva of the All Progressives Congress, who scored 110,108 votes. Soon after he was officially declared winner, Governor Diri expressed gratitude to Bayelsans for giving him the mandate to serve for another term of 4 years in office.
You stayed under the rain, you stayed under the sun until the result was declared. God bless you all.
Supporters of Governor Diri, who are satisfied with his performance in roughly 4 years, say they look forward to better days ahead.
We are very confident because we know that in the next 4 years, Bayelsa will never remain the same again.
With Governor Diri's resounding victory, it is obvious that Bayelsans want the wind of prosperity to continue to spread over 3 senatorial districts of their states in the next 4 years.
Inside the Niger Delta.
Supporters of Governor Hope Uzodinma, who has been declared winner of the just concluded Imo State governorship election, have described his victory as a welcome development. The governor's re-election, they say, is a testament of his development strides in Imo State.
The Imo State returning officer in the just concluded November 11 governorship election and Vice-Chancellor of the Federal University, Oye Ekiti, Professor Abayomi Fashina, officially declared the incumbent governor and the candidate of the All Progressive Congress, APC, Hope Uzodinma, as the duly elected governor of the state, having polled a total of 540,308 votes ahead of the candidate of People's Democratic Party, PDP, Samuel Anyanwu, with 71,503 votes, and the candidate of Labour Party, Ethan Achonu, with 64,308 votes. Some Imolite who spoke to Inside the Niger Delta after the declaration on Sunday in Owerri said they voted massively for the governor because of his giant stride and impactful leadership in the past 3.5 years, visible across the nook and cranny of the state. On his part, the governor and winner of the just concluded election, who lauded the election umpire and security agent for a seamless process, assured Imolite of justifying the mandate reposed in him.
All I want to assure you is that what you have done, you have provoked me into more actions. So I've seen it as a mark of trust. So this confidence reposed on me. I shall not betray.
Meanwhile, the governorship candidates of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Samuel Anyanwu, and Labour Party, Ethan Achonu, have jointly called on the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to review the process of the November 11th election, that the incumbent governor and candidate of APC was declared winner. The duo, who spoke to journalists in a press conference in Owerri, the Imo State capital, on Monday, accused security agents and some INEC officials of undermining the election.
I'm calling out the security agencies. You people are responsible for what happened. Yes. You protected this process. You aided and abetted. Without you aiding and abetting, nobody will do anything. They won't get away with it.
The INEC chairman, Yakub Mahmoud, who promised that this is an obstacle election and that it's going to be free, fair, and credible. Well, this is a charade. As far as I'm concerned, it's no election.
This is coming as the incumbent and governor-elect Uzodimma is calling on all opponents in the just concluded off-cycle election in the state to join forces with him to move the state forward, noting that his victory is a win for all Imolites.
Inside the Niger Delta, Azikil Group, oil and gas, dredging, power and air transportation. Azikil Group, petroleum product sufficiency, energy sustainability and infrastructure development.
Edo State, the heartbeat of the nation. Behold your son, Honorable Sergius Osaisoche Ogun, a politician of high integrity, transparency, competence and honesty. A former two-time member of Nigeria's House of Representatives, Honorable Sergius Ogun is a name that is synonymous with credible leadership and good governance. A game changer, a beacon of hope, a champion for educational reforms, affordable healthcare and infrastructural development. Honorable Sergius Ogun, National Daily Newspaper Lawmaker of the Year 2022. Honorable Sergius Ogun, Edo First, always. The Delta State government has appealed to residents and commuters around Warri to cooperate and bear with the momentary inconveniences the construction of 3 flyovers and road expansion projects around the Warri axis of the state will pose to ensure the swift delivery of the projects. Commissioner for Special Duties, Barrister Funye Manager, made the appeal after he was assigned the supervision of NRA Junction to First Marine Gate flyover and road expansion project by Governor Sheriff Oborewori.
Governor Sheriff Oborewori, in a statement signed by his Chief Press Secretary, Sir Festus Ehon, deployed Commissioner for Special Project, Barrister Funye Manager, 3 weeks ago to supervise the flyover and road expansion works at NRM Junction to the First Marine Gate in Wednesday in office promises of giving the oil city of Warri a facelift.
Warri, the commercial center of the state, will be given special attention under this administration.
Barrister Manager, while observing the impact the completed project would have on movement and socio-economic activities in the state, called on residents and communities around the axis to be patient with the temporary difficulties the work would cause.
We have other routes, alternative routes for people to use, but that particular route we want to beg and plead with all the people who are residents and who go around that place to bear with us, and in no time we'll finish our job.
The commissioner also promised to ensure that Julius Berger Nigerian PLC delivers a top-notch job according to standards and specifications of the contract. Meanwhile, Governor Oborewori has renewed his commitment to complete all projects his administration inherited from the immediate past government in the state and initiate others in line with the yearnings of the people of Delta State. The governor, who made this known recently while inspecting some ongoing project in Ika Northeast and Anyocha South local government areas of the state, said his administration would continue to engage indigenous and international contractors in delivering government projects. The project inspected include Bojiboji Owa Mixed Modern Market and School of Engineering and Environmental Sciences at the University of Delta, Owa Alero campus, as well as the Ute Opo Ute Enugu Road and Ishagu Ewulu Road. Inspecting the project, Governor Oborewori said the completion of the ongoing works became necessary because of his earlier resolve to complete all projects initiated by his predecessor in the state.
Like I've said from the beginning, that I'm going to consolidate on all the ongoing projects, and we will initiate new ones. For a commission project, you need to inspect the projects, whether the projects are built to specification and all that. So we are satisfied with the projects, and I know that the people in the Kano North-East will also be very happy for this project.
The governor, who was satisfied with the quality of work and the progress made by the indigenous contractors handling the project, noted that the state government will continue to patronize and support them.
Even as far as we are using bigger construction company, we also are patronizing the indigenous contractors. And this is one of among the contractors that within locally with us here. And looking at the work he has done, we're satisfied with the work.
In another development, Delta State Governor Right Honorable Sheriff Oboriowori has revealed that he would attend to all Deltans, regardless of their political leaning, as the governor of the state. Governor Oboriowori, who recently visited the hospitalized elder statesman and chieftain of APC in Delta State, Chief Frank Kokori Nwori, noted that the elections are over. It is time to unite Deltans across the board and move forward.
Delta has voted for me, so it's not a party. We finish election, all of us are one. Whether it's the APC or any other party, I'm governor for all Deltas.
The APC chieftain and former general secretary of the National Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, Nupeng, who was overwhelmed by the gesture of the governor, described him as a noble and deserving leader.
I'm so happy that he's not a mean fellow, that he is a real governor, a man who has such a heart. Is a good man, and I've told him certain things privately, how he will make his name in history of Nigeria.
And to political development in Delta State, the Court of Appeal sitting in Lagos has reserved judgment in the case challenging the emergence of Right Honorable Sheriff Oboriowori as the governor of Delta State in the March 18th governorship election. The candidates of APC, Senator Omo Agege, Labour Party, Ken Pella, and Social Democratic Party, Kenneth Gbagi, had approached the appeal court after their initial prayers bordering on alleged overvoting and breach of the Electoral Act 2022, among other claims against Governor Oboriowori's declaration by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, was dismissed by the Election Petitions Tribunal sitting in Asaba in September. As all parties wait for the ruling of the appeal court in the coming days, counsel to APC and candidates of Labour Party, Ken Pella, hinted that they will not falter in their quest until all options are exhausted.
We've adopted our briefs, and like I said, we're pretty certain that we have strong grounds in our case. And so it's when they eventually give judgment we will know whether we've had fair hearing or not.
With regard to the governorship election, there is a right of appeal to the Supreme Court. So anybody who is dissatisfied is entitled to appeal to the Supreme Court. But until the judgment, you just have to wait.
On his part, a supporter of Governor Oboriowori, Justin Chukwuemeka, is confident in the courts to affirm the mandate of the majority of Deltans, as reflected in the outcome of the election.
The spirit is quite good. Everybody is excited to be here. We're positive. We hope that the outcome will be very positive as well. Justice was served when Right Honorable Sheriff Oboriowori won the election. So we're still hoping that justice will affirm his victory.
Counsel to PDP and Governor Oboriowori, Damian Dodo, who described the earlier judgment of the Election Petitions Tribunal as well thought out and grounded in the laws of the land, is convinced that it would stand any further evaluations by higher courts in the land.
Inside the Niger Delta.
The Ishekiri ethnic nationality has called on the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, to commence construction of the Warri-Escravos Road, which has been on the drawing board for several years. The Shekiris made the demand recently when they paid a solidarity visit to to the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the NDDC, Dr. Samuel Ogbuku, at the Commission's corporate headquarters in Port Harcourt, the River State capital. According to the Shekiris, who were led by the Ologboshere of Warri Kingdom, Chief Ayiri Emami, the Warri Escravos Road project, when completed, will boost socio-economic activities in the Niger Delta.
Warri in Delta State is often regarded as the oil city because it hosts a refinery and is also a gateway to Escravos Terminal, where a lot of crude oil export activities take place. Currently, Escravos can only be accessed by sea from Warri as there is no road linking both locations. Commuting between Escravos and Warri has been a difficult journey for the Ishekiris as well as many oil workers in Nigeria's oil industry. The Ishekiris believe that construction of the 69 kilometers Warri Escravos Road will have many positive impacts both for the Ishekiri Nation, Delta State, and indeed the Federal Republic of Nigeria. During the visit to the NDDC last week, they made a formal request to the Commission for the construction of the road. Sir Sonny Mene, Secretary of the Ishekiri Leaders of Thought, who read an address on behalf of the visiting delegation, told the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the NDDC, Dr. Samuel Ogbuku, that the road, when constructed, will be a game changer for their quest for socio-economic development.
The Warri Omadino Escravos Communities Road Project come with attendant benefits to the Ishekiri, Ijo, and our Urobo neighbors, who are inhabitants along the routes.
In his response, Dr. Ogbuku told the delegation that the NDDC was already in talks with development partners like Chevron as part of its public-private partnership initiative to ensure completion of the Escravos Road project.
We had an engagement with Chevron, and after that meeting, they requested certain things from us, which my team is also working on, some of the details in terms of the measurement of the road, the costing, in fact, the total economics of how to get that road fixed.
For his part, Prince of Warri Kingdom, Yemi Emiko, commended Dr. Ogbuku for his visible development strides, which he said were already changing the narrative in the Niger Delta. Leader of the delegation, Chief Ayiri Emami, who asked Dr. Ogbuku to ensure the completion of several abandoned and stalled projects within the Ishekiri Nation, promised to ensure an enabling environment across Ishekiri for the NDDC to successfully carry out all its programs and projects.
We'll make sure that our regions, our places are calm for NDDC to come and execute project. So whatever NDDC will cite in my community, I will ensure that those projects are safe, because we are the beneficiaries of those projects.
The meeting between the Ishekiris and Dr. Ogbuku is yet another interaction between stakeholders and the NDDC to ensure that everyone is carried along in the plans, programs and projects of the NDDC.
Inside the Niger Delta.
Since January this year, when the NDDC introduced the Public-Private Partnership Initiative, several organizations have continued to show interest in the program, which is aimed at instituting sustainable development in the Niger Delta. Total Energies Nigeria Limited, a multinational petroleum exploration and production company, is the latest corporate organization to express interest in the NDDC's Public-Private Partnership Initiative. Management team of the multinational oil giant was at the corporate headquarters of the NDDC recently to formally convey its interest of partnership with the intervention agency in the supply of clean and renewable energy in the Niger Delta communities.
The Niger Delta Development Commission's Public-Private Partnership is a brainchild of Dr. Samuel Ogbuku, who introduced the policy shortly after his appointment about a year ago. Since government alone cannot provide all the needed amenities within Niger Delta communities, Dr. Ogbuku said he decided to enlist the partnership of corporate organizations to ensure the provision of sustainable infrastructure in the region. after the NDDC organized a summit to enlighten the public about its partnership policy. The response for partnership with the agency has been most encouraging. Total Energies Nigeria Limited Company has decided to key into this laudable initiative to further provide necessary infrastructure for its host communities. Last week, during a visit to the management of NDDC, the Executive Director, Joint Venture Assets Total Energies, Mr. Obi Ememba, said its organization decided to partner with the NDDC because it was convinced of the Commission's renewed commitment to sustainability in its project delivery. He noted that Total is looking forward to collaborating with the NDDC in the supply of clean and renewable energy within its host communities and the recycling of non-biodegradable materials such as plastic waste, because the NDDC has proven to be in compliance with the Sustainable Development Goal 7, which emphasizes the use of affordable and clean energy.
What you are doing in NDDC is ticking the boxes around the Sustainable Development Goals. We can work together, have our teams work together, collaborate, and probably come up with a clear action plan of what is possible.
In his response, Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the NDDC, Dr. Samuel Ugbuku, observed that livelihoods in the Niger Delta and its people's means of survival has been on the line in the face of climate change, while emphasizing on the need for collaborative efforts on the part of government and corporate organizations in proffering lasting solutions to ecological challenges.
If we partner today, you can also bring your own technological expertise to bear for us to see, is it climate change that is causing it? How do we tackle it?
Dr. Ogbuku noted that his administration's public-private partnership policy, which is a win-win for all parties involved, is intended to eliminate project abandonment across the Niger Delta.
We want things to work, hence we are working with everybody, stakeholders, contractors, to find a common ground to see how some of these projects we can go back to sites to finish them.
As part of his efforts to reduce carbon footprints in the Niger Delta, the NDDC had opted for renewable energy sources in its electrification projects, which is exemplified in the recent installation of solar-powered energy streetlights across several communities.
Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, making a difference. Inside the Niger Delta.
First Lady of Edo State, Mrs. Betsy Obaseki, says women have been instrumental to the success of the outgoing administration of Governor Godwin Obaseki in the state. Mrs. Obaseki made the observation recently during the just concluded 2023 edition of the Alagodaro Women's Economic Summit in Benin City, the Edo State capital.
The Alagodaro Women's Economic Summit is an annual event that brings women from all walks of life together to celebrate their potentials and achievements in Edo State. It also provides a platform for women to share their experiences, insights, and ideas on how to move the state forward. First Lady of Edo State, Mrs. Betsy Obaseki, who hosted this year's edition of the Women's Summit, observed that they had made useful contributions in the governance of the state in the last 7 years plus. She also noted that Governor Obaseki, who was finishing well and strong, had been unwavering in its commitment to women's advancement in Edo State.
You have a governor who is women-friendly. You have a governor who has said to the people in his party, allow the women to express themselves, give them their own rightful positions.
This year's edition of the Alagodaro Women's Economic Empowerment Summit was a rallying point for women in politics, business, diverse professions and vocations to share their collective experiences and ideas. Organizers of the summit said it was a platform to create awareness for women's inclusion in the governance of Edo State.
I want to extend my deepest gratitude to our vacancy governor, His Excellency, Mr. Godwin Obaseki, the Executive Governor of Edo State, for creating an enabling environment for women to thrive.
The just concluded 2023 edition of the annual Alagodaru Women's Economic Summit featured interactive sessions among several women groups from across 18 local government areas of Edo State. It climaxed with a cultural display contest won by Ikpoba Oka local government area.
I'm so happy to announce that Ikpoba Oka local government.
Inside the Niger Delta.
Well, that's the size of our package on the program for today. Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region will be back same time, same station next week. Until then, you can follow us on our social media handles showing right now on your screens. And please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel at NDNTV Nigeria for these stories and many more. Until next week, I am Mahmoud Akuga thanking you for staying tuned. Bye for now.
This is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Bookie November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on PlusTvAfrica.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
On Plus TV News now. Court of Appeal in Abuja sacks Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf. Hoodlums kill 2, Ebonyi policemen injures 1. Election observers applaud peaceful conduct. And WHO chief says Gaza hospitals must be protected. Good evening, I am Destiny Momo. This is News Now. The panel upheld the verdict over a tribunal that dismissed the governor of Kano State, Nasiru Gawuna, on September 20, 2023. The lower court declared Yusuf's 165,663 votes invalid due to non-signing by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Yusuf rejected the verdict, calling it unfair and a miscarriage of justice. At the appeal court, Yusuf's lawyer Wale Olanikpekun argued that the tribunal erred in declaring Yusuf winner of the polls. However, Akin Olujimi SAN, counsel for the All Progressive Congress APC, argued that the non-signing of ballots amounted to electoral malpractice. And the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, has expressed sadness over the judgment of the Court of Appeal which sacked Kano Governor Abba Yusuf, saying it will explore all legal means to reclaim its mandate. National Auditor of the party, Ladipo Johnson, told the nation that the party will approach the Supreme Court with the belief that it will be successful in reclaiming the mandate. Johnson said the concern of the party is the people who voted for the NNPP, saying issues of technicalities should not form the basis of denying the people their choice of a governor. He said the NNPP was confident that the Supreme Court will affirm the election of Engineer Yusuf and appeal to the party supporters to remain calm and allow the party take the necessary step to reclaim its mandate. The national chairman of All Progressive Congress, Dr. Abdullahi Ganduje, said they are not afraid of facing the ousted governor of Kano State, Abba Yusuf, in his New Nigeria People's Party at the Supreme Court, following their loss at a court of appeal on Friday. The immediate past governor of Kano also hailed the judiciary for living up to expectations. Ganduje's praise came hours after an Abuja division of the Court of Appeal affirmed the APC candidate Nasiru Gawuna as the winner of the governorship election in Kano. Delivering judgment on the matter on Friday, the three-member panel led by Justice M.A. Adume held that Yusuf was not qualified to contest the election as he was not in the membership register of his political party. And Zamfara State Governor Dauda Lawal has referred to the Court of Appeal's verdict declaring the March 18th governorship poll inconclusive as a temporary setback. The appellate court had ordered a rerun in 3 local government areas, Maradun, Benin, Magaji, and Bokoyum, after the All Progressive Congress candidate Bello Matawale proved Lawal was not duly elected. Lawal, however, said the court's verdict will not deter him from retaining his mandate, stating that he was elected due to dissatisfaction with the state's current situation. And the Zamfara State chapter of the All Progressive Congress APC has praised the appeal court's decision to sack Governor Dauda Lawal, declaring the last governorship election in the state inconclusive and ordering a rerun in 3 local government areas. The party state publicity secretary, Yusuf Idris Gassal, stated that they are confident that their stolen mandate will soon be returned, citing the opposition PDP's use of misguided security personnel to deny APC members and supporters from exercising their franchise during the polls. The Independent National Commissioner in charge of Kogi, Kwara, and Niger State, Professor Danny Adam, has said that the just concluded governorship election in Kogi State was free, fair, and credible. Adam spoke on Friday in Lokoja, Kogi State capital, at the presentation of Certificate of Return to the Governor-elect Ahmed Ododo and his deputy Joel Oyibo at the INEC State Head Office, Lokoja. He said there was enough evidence to conclude that the election was not only free and fair, but credible and even verifiable by all. Also, the Kogi State Resident Electoral Commissioner, Dr. Gabriel Longbet, said there was no doubt about the credibility of the election, adding that declaring Ododo and Oyibo the governor-elect and deputy governor-elect, respectively, was the best thing to do. And Justice Hamza Muazzar of the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory in Abuja has ordered former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, to be remanded in Kuje prison until his bail request is determined. Emefiele will remain in prison until November 22, when the court will deliver a ruling on his bail motion. The federal government's Rotimi Oyedepo opposed Emefiele's application for bail. Justice Moazu said a bench ruling could not be delivered due to the numerous authorities cited by both parties. Officials of Kuje Prison Authority are assisting in bringing Emefiele to prison. And Ondo State Governor Rotimi Akeredolu has received a vote of confidence from his Executive Council, with 31 members signing a document affirming his capacity to continue leading the state. However, 2 commissioners, Razak Obe and Akiwumi Showore, failed to endorse the document. Governor Akeredolu is recuperating in Ibadan, where he is steering the affairs of the state since his return from medical vacation in Germany on September 7. The Coalition of Civil Society Organization for Democracy has complained about Akeredolu's stay outside the state, asking him to move to Akure or hand over to his deputy. And meanwhile, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Forever Initiative has issued the governor of Ondo State, Rotimi Akeredolu, a 72-hour ultimatum to transmit power to his deputy, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, or face their consequence. The Forever Initiative, which comprises several PDP support groups, threatened to occupy the governor's office should he fail to heed the 72 hours ultimatum. National coordinator of the group, Obande, while addressing a press conference at the PDP National Secretariat on Friday in Abuja, lamented that the APC is yet to provide the kind of leadership expected by Nigerians. He added that the worst of it is the political vacuum in Ondo State, where the APC leadership used in showcasing its inaptitude towards governance in the country. And also, the Abia state government has denied a report on social media that claimed that it owes Nigerian soldiers attached to its multi-agency security task force, Operation Courage. In a statement signed by Keze Uko, the chief press secretary to the governor, Alex Oti, the Abia state government dismissed the report as misleading and a total falsehood. The Abia government, which said that it was up to date and meeting its obligations to the anti-crime task force, explained that the prompt payment to soldiers had been instrumental in dealing with incidents of violent crimes and dislodging kidnapping rings, especially around Umenochi Uturu Kigwe axis of the state. And the federal government has finally bowed to pressure, thereby suspending the automatic deduction of 40% from the internally generated revenue, IGR, of tertiary institutions. The reversal order was given by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Friday. Tinubu spoke at an ongoing 75th Founders' Day ceremony at the University of Ibadan, UI. He was represented by the Minister of Education, Tahir Mamman, as the visitor to the university, describing the policy as ill-timed. The leaked memo from the Revenue and Investment Department of the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation and the Federal Ministry of Finance notified the institutions of the government's automatic deduction of 40% of its IGR from November. The letter dated 17th October with reference. And the November 11 governorship election in Imo State has been met with mixed reactions, as All Progressive Congress APC Southeast claims the election is free, fair, and credible, while observer groups argue it is marred with irregularities. APC Southeast Chairman Ijoma Arodiobu praised the Independent National Electoral Commission for conducting a peaceful election and appealed to contestants to accept the poll's verdict in good faith.
Looking at my own view, if the purpose of their going to strike was as a result of the humiliation done to the national president of NLC, Honorable Aji. If that was why they went on strike, I support them 100% because it is very, very unfortunate that the man will be so humiliated and be treated like a common criminal in his own state. But in Imo State, the strike on. Well, I don't know whether the strike.
There is nothing like we heard about strike, but there are still a movement in Imo State here. Some offices are still open. At the same time, but this, if you ask me, I will say that this is not a good time for Nigeria to go into strike because people are passing through difficulties. So it's not a better time for people to go on strike. You don't tell somebody who is hungry to go on strike. So I believe right now, anybody who likes to go on strike, I believe there is individual differences. For me, I'm not on strike. That's all I can say.
Thank you.
I don't like it. I feel like what happened to the man, yes, it's something the government has to, fix, but to say strike for everybody, when people are trying to defend themselves as everything is hard, it's not really necessary. They should take it on the government. But I know that the government will need this when everybody puts it together.
The Pan-African Women Observer Group will monitor the election accused of significant irregularities, including vote buying, lobbying, ballot box snatching, and results tallying. Observers will monitor the state election, unanimously praise the media for their unbiased reporting, highlighting their contributions to the poll's success.
Because of why today is not school and we are doing nothing in the school because of the lockdown.
Because of the strike, no teacher is in the school. Everywhere is like nobody comes. Both the teacher, the principal, no one is in the school.
New Imo State Police Commissioner Danjo Maraboki has pledged to end Monday seat at home by increasing visibility and preventing extortion. Aboki and his team visited major streets and markets to boost public confidence and ensure no extortion by his officers. He assures Imo people that the police are committed to protecting lives and properties.
Management. I'm here to sanitize with the people informing the public, that is the Imolite, that we are all protected, that the era of sit at home is over. On that day, all of us will be all over to protect the people of Imo State, protect their life, protect their property, and division. There is no room for indiscipline, and there is no room for extortion.
And hoodlums have reportedly killed 2 policemen attached to the Ebonyi State Police Command. The incident, a correspondent guarded, took place at Warfare, a suburb of the Abakaliki metropolis in the Izi local government area, on Friday morning. The victims were said to be part of a patrol team that was on surveillance in the area. A statement from the police spokesperson in the state, SP Onome Onowakpoyea, confirmed the incident, adding that another operative was injured in the attack. The Commissioner of Police also visited the scene of the incident with her management team for an on-the-spot assessment. The Nigerian Defense Academy, NDA, has urged members of its immediate host communities not to panic as the Academy conducts its annual range classification for Nigerian Army personnel and introductory shooting exercise for cadets of 73 regular course in Afaka, Kaduna State, northwest Nigeria. The Academy Public Relations Officer, Major Mohammed Maidawa, said the inhabitants of Mando, Samiyak, Hoya, and Afaka general area should steer clear of the NDA open range in Afaka between 20th to 30th November for shooting exercise. And the Lagos State Police Command on Friday released singer Azeez Fashola, popularly known as Naira Marley, and Balogun Samson, known as Sam Larry, after the duo met their bail conditions. And this was made known by the State Police Public Relations Officer Benjamin Hundeyin on Friday in a terse statement saying Naira Marley and Sam Larry, having met their bail conditions, have been released. Hundeyin made this known on Friday afternoon after the artists and the socially perfected their bail conditions granted by Justice Adiola Olatubosun of the Lagos State Magistrate Court. They were arrested as part of an investigation into Mohbad's death after videos of assault against the late singer surfaced online. And Director General Michael Imodu, National Institute for Labor Studies, Issa Aremu, has called for effective education on labor issues by government officials and critical stakeholders in the labor movement as a strategy to guarantee industrial harmony in the workplace environment. Aremu gave the advice in Ilorin, in the Kwara State capital, while reacting to the now suspended industrial action by the Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress, TUC.
The crisis is an opportunity to reset relationship between government and labor. It's also an opportunity for government to reset its approach to reform so that it doesn't lead to conflict. It's also an opportunity for state government to also know that they must take labor issues seriously. And when they have knowledge gap, they should return to federal government that has the authority to do so. The only way we'll be handling inevitable conflict in the world of work is that all the parties must improve their knowledge on how to handle conflict in the world of work. This crisis has raised the importance of labor education more than ever before. And this labor education should be for government officials, it should be for employers of labor, it should also be for labor.
Issa Aremu also advised Nigeria Governors Forum on the need to create a platform to sensitize members on how to engage on labor issues and how such engagements can be explored for national development.
I would like to enjoy the Governors Forum, to create a platform, so that we can do sensitization with the governors, especially from our institute, on critical issues of labor. That because we have laws on labor law, labor disputes, laws guiding issue of mediation, arbitration, and co. So it's important that governors are informed about this.
The role of women in nation building has been re-echoed through a book titled Pelewura. The book, written by Associate Professor of Psychiatry and newspaper columnist Dr. Femi Olugbile, a doctor come author, was unveiled in Lagos. PlusTV correspondent Lovey Kuko Yedokun was there and now reports.
It is the launch of the book Pelewura. It reveals the untold story of gender politics in early colonial Lagos and Nigeria. The book encapsulates the historical foundation of Lagos and Yoruba land. It beams a searchlight on a woman, Alimotu Pelewura, a heroine in Yoruba land. Dr. Femi Olugbile is the author of Pelewura. He shares more insights into the content of his book.
In the course of my work, I met Alaja Abibatu Mogaji, and I found her to be very powerful and very inspirational, despite the fact of her limited education. And then when I read history further and I discovered Pelewura, who is actually a true historical figure, I found some commonalities between those three characters, and I decided to look further into the character of Pelewura. And that's what I found was that many things that happened to her were emblematic of developments of Lagos in her time, and she had a very major impact. And a lot of those things can be transformational if the present generation can imbibe them.
The book is captivating and compelling as it offers a fresh perspective on lesser-known aspects of Lagos history. Dr. Olugbule believes that Kwelawura would deeply impact its readers.
All the children of Lagos should read about Kwelawura. They should read this book. I think it will help to connect them with their past and help them to recognize that they have within themselves great power that they need to tap into, they need to connect with, and they need to carry forward to help. There have been some difficult things happening in the recent past, discouraging people and making them feel low about themselves. If they read a empowering testimony about their actual past, then they can make people connect to their inner selves and lead their children to have great discoveries and open new vistas for better living for all of us. Again,
the reviewer, Bashirun J.K. Rondo, recommended the book to all and sundry, describing Kwelawura as brave and combative.
She, Kwelawura, was a powerful woman who had been groomed in the fort by her illustrious mother. That was not for me. And there are so many others that I couldn't feel. And if the Lord did not begin to further compound matters, the author occasionally lapses into racial profiling.
Olugbule has authored 6 books, including Lonely Men, Leader, 10 Ahead, Batolika, Heroes, and the latest edition, Kwelawura.
Whilst Kwelawura was in charge of the market, women and men then, Abba Macaulay was practically the leader of the political leader as at then, and they both contributed a lot to what we now enjoy as our Lagos. So I'm very happy with the author for putting it down, and we also encourage other Lagosians and some other people that are very knowledgeable, they have experience, to share their experiences by putting it down so that generations yet unborn can go back to those books and read.
And this book will just complete history. And there are many more books like this that should come out to show the role of women. As for the author himself, I'm not surprised that he's such a wonderful author, because even as a psychiatrist, he's one of the best psychiatrists Nigeria has ever produced. So whatever he does very, very well.
According to the author, Kwelawura was the founder of the Lagos Women Market Association, the first in Nigeria. Love Ikuku Uyedokum, Plus TV News.
Still ahead. Supreme Court rules against the UK's asylum policy. Details on where written. Stay with us.
My name is Adejokela Sisi. I'm the founder and creative director of Planet 3R. As Planet 3R, we convert textile and plastic waste into eco-friendly products. The motivation actually came from a rural community in Ibadan here. Whenever it rains, the whole place, people will not be able to go inside the community. If it rains overnight, people will not be able to go to school, they will not be able to go to work. Anytime the water now goes away, you now realize a lot of waste. And I was like, this is actually the root cause of this problem, improper waste management system. Then I look at it that, what can we do to solve this problem? And that was how I started using the weaving skill that I've acquired from my mom since I was 9 years old. Then I started using it to weave those waste to now make sure that we now convert them into beautiful items like bags, shoes, even clothing. I actually participated at Womenpreneur Season 3, that was 2021. One of the things I really gained at that time was business development. You know, it's not just about the talent now or having to know how to convert the waste or having the idea, but to be able to put it into a successful business. I really appreciate what Access Bank is doing for entrepreneurs. Let us now say women now, because most of the time women don't really have much of these advantages. I love the fact that there's an initiative for women. I want to encourage you to make sure that you go and apply honestly. Your life will not remain the same again.
An African girl somewhere is sitting at home, accompanied by dreams that seem so far away. Africa is one of the continents with the highest out-of-school percentage in education, and girls are at an early disadvantage. The sub-Saharan Africa records about 18 million out-of-school girls, This gender gap extends to the tech space with a projection of only a 33% global female workforce representation in tech firms for 2022. Let us help change the stories and numbers. Africa Agility's Project Train a Girl campaign is working to help train African girls in tech. You can donate as little as $2 or 2,000 naira to help a girl in tech get her heels in the door. Visit www.africaagility.rallyup.com/PTAG to donate.
Welcome back to news now. And moving on to other parts of Africa, the European Union and ECOWAS congratulated Liberia on a largely peaceful second round of the presidential election, with opposition candidate Joseph Boakai leading with 50.58% of the vote. The EU mission noted improvements in electoral organization since the first round, but noted isolated incidents in provinces.
Counting was mostly conducted efficiently, accurately, and in a transparent manner, but important reconciliation steps were often omitted in an effort to speed up the process. Currently, all observers are following the process at the county tally centers across the country. Up until now, this process is assessed mainly positively as transparent, efficient, and orderly managed. We will continue to observe the tallying until it's finalized. We also follow the handling of complaints and appeals. The mission will remain in the country until 10th of December to follow all the remaining steps of this electoral process.
Madagascar's election management body reviewed a provisional participation rate of 39% in the first round of the presidential election, with a runoff scheduled for December 20 if no candidate achieves 50%. Opposition candidate Hadjo Adranavello praised voters' maturity, while incumbent President Andry Rajoelina expressed confidence in re-election. Civil society groups called for a postponement. And Niger's military junta Chief General Abdurrahman Tiani has established an anti-corruption commission and a state court following a coup. The new state court replaces the Court of Cassation and State Council, which were dissolved after the coup. The commission aims to recover illegally acquired and misappropriated public property. The junta demands a 3-year transition back to civilian rule, but no date has been fixed for elections. Niger has been subject to economic sanctions since the coup, causing inflation and shortages of products. And the UK Supreme Court has declared the UK's migration strategy of sending asylum seekers to Rwanda as illegal, sparking a diplomatic dispute between Rwanda and the UK. Rwanda's deputy spokesperson, Aline Bukaranda, questioned the UK's understanding of Rwanda's safety conditions and the absence of an invitation to Rwanda to participate in the court's hearing. Jean-Baptiste Gassominari, a lawyer and political analyst in Rwanda, viewed the ruling as a step in a more extended process, anticipating ongoing collaboration between the UK and Rwanda. Rwanda is committed to working with the UK on establishing a binding treaty to address concerns about the migration strategy.
I don't think the ruling from another country can affect an image of another country for obvious reasons and so many reasons. First of all, the courts in UK are not knowledgeable about the situation in Rwanda. They do not live in Rwanda. They are not accustomed by what is happening in Rwanda. The court ruling is not the last step. It's just a step in a very long way. And I think both parties will continue to work together. And as
I know as a legal practitioner in this country, I know so many trainings are even going on. So many people are being trained and so many institutions are being prepared to receive these people once they are sent here. And we believe they will be sent as it is in the interest of those people.
The Kenyan High Court extended orders blocking the deployment of police officers to Haiti on the same day that Parliament approved the government request to send 1,000 policemen to the Caribbean nation to help deal with gang violence. High Court Judge Chachawita said he would make a ruling on January 26 next year, effectively delaying the sending of our security officers to Haiti, where they are expected to lead a multinational force that's backed up by the United Nations Security Council. Either of the parties can appeal the decision due in January at the High Court and beyond to the Supreme Court, meaning this could be a protracted battle to send troops to Haiti. And meanwhile, Zimbabwe declared Friday a state of emergency in the capital, Harare, over a deadly cholera outbreak. The capital, of some 1.5 million people, has been badly hit by an outbreak of the disease that has affected all provinces of the southern African nation. The country has recorded more than 7,000 suspected cholera cases and almost 150 deaths, of which 51 have been confirmed by laboratory tests since the outbreak was reported in February. At least 12 people have died in Harare. The acute diarrheal infection is contracted from a bacterium that is generally transmitted through contaminated food or water. And I'm moving on to news outside Africa. The Israeli army has ended its raid on the Army and Senior Hospital complex in the West Bank, resulting in 14 injuries. Gaza is currently under a communication blackout due to generator shortages. The health ministry warns of thousands of deaths due to Israeli raids on Al-Shifa Hospital. At least 11,470 people have been killed in Israeli strikes since October 7, but the death toll remains unadjusted due to the collapse of the health system. And WHO chief says hospitals in the Gaza Strip must be protected as facilities crumble under Israeli attacks, lack of fuel and other supplies. Al-Shifa Hospital director says 7,000 people, patients, medics, and other civilians seeking shelter are trapped in Gaza's largest hospital, which remains cut off from water, electricity, and communications. Israeli attacks on Jabalia refugee camp in northern Gaza killed at least 18 people. Gaza is under a communications blackout due to a lack of fuel for generators. Up next, Nigeria withdraws $1 billion claim against Eni. And that's some business news after this short break. Join us again.
Picture this. You're sitting at a table, ready to indulge in a mouth-watering meal. Stop. For many of us, it is hard to resist the temptation, especially when it comes to enjoying a juicy beef dish. But have you ever stopped to think about the impact of your food choices on the greater good? Our food choices have a great impact on others. The beef industry is one of the leading contributors to deforestation. As trees are cleared to make way for cattle ranching, it not only disrupts the delicate balance of ecosystems, but also contributes to climate change. We can make a difference with our choices. It does not mean we all have to become vegans overnight. Imagine enjoying fish and poultry a few times a week, indulging in beef just once a month, and filling our plates with plenty of plant-based goodness. Every little bit counts. And even small reductions in our intake can make a huge impact on the climate. By making smarter food choices, we're not only taking care of ourselves, but also the planet we call home. Remember, the choices we make today lead to a better tomorrow.
Welcome back. Moving on to business news. Nigerians in diaspora have been advised to bring home investment to boost the country's economy. And this charge was made at a 3-day event on investment in Nigeria, tagged 6th Aero Nigeria Diaspora Investment Summit in Abuja. Plus TV Emmanuel Hijena reports is presented from our studio.
The 6th edition of the event witnessed a massive turnout of both the public and the private sector businesses, and with all participating to display a variety of goods and services. With the theme of the summit being New Vistas, New Aspirations, New Visions, the Diaspora and National Development, Chairperson of Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri Erewa, stated the aims of the event while calling on Nigerians in diaspora to invest more in the country.
This is very appropriate, particularly with the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. In Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, Nigeria is always the beautiful bride. Everywhere the president goes, everybody wants to do business with Nigeria. And that is why we say so should the Nigerian diaspora. If the Chinese, the Indians are invested in your country, you should invest in your own country, because we know you have the money, we know you have the resources, we know you are investing in other parts of the world, and that's why we're creating a platform to invest in Nigeria, because we need to come at your embassy here in Nigeria.
The Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Architect Musa Dangiwa, during his speech before the launch of the Diaspora Housing Mortgage Scheme, says Nigeria is open to business, particularly in the housing and real estate sector. Stakeholders also exchange ideas channeled to creating opportunities for economic growth and boosting the economy towards private sector-driven economy.
Our aim at the ministry is to implement the most historic housing and urban sector reforms the country has ever witnessed. We want to drive through the initiatives that will create an enabling environment for easier, safer, and profitable private sector investments in the sector. A notable part of our housing sector reforms that is of particular interest to the diaspora is investing in the housing real estate sector is land reforms.
In his address at the event, the Minister of Interior, Olubumi Tunji Ojo, says the federal government will make the process of passport application easy by automating the process with lesser human contact to create an enabling environment for Nigerians and those in the diaspora.
The only way to eradicate corruption in the system is to avoid human contact as much as possible. So we are, by the grace of God, automating all this whole process. And by February, when Nigerians request for passport, when you apply for your passport, you have no business going back to immigration office to get your passport. Your passport must be delivered to your homes and to your offices.
Chairman, Senate Committee on Diaspora, Senator Victor Ume, as well as the Chairman, House Committee on Diaspora, Honorable Tanko Adamu, pledged to move for the formulation of laws that will encourage diaspora investment in Nigeria.
From our part, on the side of the National Assembly, House of Representatives in particular, we are ever ready to support NIDCOM and to support the linking up of Nigerians in diaspora with their home country, with the enabling laws in order to facilitate smooth interaction and for the benefits of our home country.
We are here to listen to Nigerians and make laws that will lead to good governance in this country, and laws that will aid investment inflows into Nigeria. We must be able to attract investments into Nigeria to be able to support our economy. So we are ready at any time. Any sector can bring their own ideas to us. It's for us to make the enabling laws that will fast-track these visions.
Apart from establishing the platform where investors can interact with other potential sponsors, the summit will create business matchmaking opportunity and explore sponsorship opportunities in all 36 states of the country and Abuja, the nation's capital.
And stay with us as my co-anchor Emmanuel gives you more on business news.
A very good evening and warm welcome to the Business Desk. Now, oil marketers claim long queues at petrol stations in Abuja and neighboring states are due to insufficient supply of premium motor spirit by Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited, NNPCL. However, the sole importers, which is NNPCL, refused this claim, citing a price war in affected areas. The government, represented by the NNPCL, claims it is expecting stock, as they have promised to discharge some vessels of PMS soon, but products have not arrived. Private depot owners have also raised product prices, leading to increased petroleum pump prices at retail outlets. Olusegun Aganga, chairman of Leadway Pension Limited, has emphasized the role of corporate governance in driving economic transformation in Nigeria. He stated that every Nigerian government has discussed the need for economic diversification, but none has identified corporate governance as a major catalyst. Now, Tijani Borodo, president and chairman of the Governing Council of CIOD Nigeria, emphasized the importance of corporate governance in promoting economic growth and development, highlighting the impact of the rapidly evolving digital landscape on the country's economic future. And still in business, the federal government plans to withdraw $1.1 billion in civil claims against any ESPA, as ending a long battle in Italian court over allegations of corruption in an oil field deal. Now, the Ministry of Justice will waive the claims before Italy's highest court unconditionally and with immediate effect no later than November the 17th. Now, any confirmed receipt of the letter and said it was ready to consider steps for conversion of the prospective license to allow the development of the oil block. The area is considered one of the richest concessions in Nigeria, with recoverable reserves of 560 million barrels. Also, mobile network operators in Nigeria have urged deposit money banks to pay off the debt owed them over the use of unstructured supplementary service data. Now, the debt has risen to 200 billion naira and will not be forgiven until it is paid. Now, operators are also urging for help in solving the historical issue of poor service quality in Abuja and addressing access and infrastructure issues in different regions. Now, the President's Association of Telecommunications Companies of Nigeria also highlighted the importance of infrastructure in Nigeria. And that's the much we can take on the Business Desk. I am Emmanuel Olubobokun. The news continues shortly.
And coming up next is entertainment news.
Nigerian superstar Asake and award-winning singer and songwriter Her combines for exciting collaboration. The track is a reimagined version that showcases the lyrical abilities and vocal prowess of both stars as they sing about what it takes to get to the top and how to stay focused throughout that journey. The new track comes on the heels of the announcement that Asake earns his first ever Grammy nomination with Amapiano featuring YBNL founder and legendary Afrobeat artist Olamide for the Best African Music Performance category. The original Lonely at the Top is featured on Asake's latest album Work of Art. It's the first ever song to reach 100 million streams on Audiomack and is the longest #1 charting song on Turntable Top 100. The Grammy nomination is proof of a momentous year for Asake, having headlined the Barclays Center, headlined the O2 Arena, and been nominated for MTV VMA and MTV EMA awards. The National Film and Video Censors Board on Thursday vowed to clamp down on over-the-top streaming services violating the Nigerian digital content law. Alhaji Adedayo Thomas, Executive Director of the National Film and Video Censor Board, NFVCB, said this at the closing of the third edition of the National Film and Video Censor Board's Digital Content Regulation Conference in Lagos. The 3-day conference was tagged NFVCB, Netflix Safe Screen and Digital Entertainment Space Forum. Speaking, the Executive Secretary, Lagos State Film and Video Censor Board, said that the board had the power to close down any cinema and exhibition center aiding the exposure of children to inappropriate and unclassified content. The executive secretary stated that the board had not achieved total regulation of the OTT streaming platform because of the voluminous content in space. 50 Cent has taken yet another jab at fellow rapper Sean Diddy Combs after he was sued by his ex Cassie for rape and abuse. Combs changed his name to Love or Brother Love in 2017, saying at the time that he had evolved into a new person and therefore desired a new moniker. 50 Cent has been a long-time critic of Diddy and even questioned his sexuality just months ago. His post mocking Diddy came as no surprise to his followers when he commented on the rape allegations. Fans took to the comment section. They knew 50 Cent would not miss a chance to mock Diddy.
And let's join our sports anchor Mudashiru Shitu for the best of sports news.
Welcome to Sport News. I am Mudashiru Shitu. We go straight to the update of Nigerians' match against Lesotho as the fans across the country have lashed out at the flattering performances of the Super Eagles in the 2026 World Cup qualifiers opener against Lesotho at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium in Uyo. Nigeria played out a 1-1 draw against the Crocodiles as Semi Ajayi scored the leveller after the Eagles earlier went behind to a 15-minute goal from Lesotho's defender, Motslumeto. The echoes of disapproval found their way to social media, expressed delight following a nomination for the CAF Young Player of the Year award. The 20-year-olds, alongside Okweyemi Ajakaye and Oluwatosin Demeyi, are the three Nigerians nominated for the award of players not more than 21 years. The Falcons has a remarkable year, having got into the round of 16 of the Women's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand, and were very close to qualifying the quarterfinal before being knocked out of the competitions on penalty by England. Reacting to the nomination, Abiodun wrote on her X account that she's thrilled to be nominated for the CAF Young Player of the Year. And that's all for Sport News tonight. I'm Mudashiru Shitu. Thanks for watching.
Thank you, Muda, for the best of sports news and the main news again. Court of Appeal in Abuja sacks Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf. Hoodlums kill 2, Ebonyi policemen injures 1. Election observers in Liberia applaud peaceful conduct. And WHO chief says Gaza hospitals must be protected. And that's the news now. For more stories, please follow us on Facebook, X, and Instagram. And do subscribe to our YouTube channel at PlusTvAfrica and PlusTvAfrica Lifestyle. You can also view us from Linemex on linemex.tv and Glow TV apps anywhere in the world. I am Destiny Momo. Many thanks for watching and have a good night rest.
This is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Booking November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on PlusTvAfrica.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Sometimes when we see celebrities either on social media, television, or in person, we assume they have it all together, but we forget that they're also human. Well, here are some of the low points of some of your favorite celebrities.
I was broke, man. It's not funny. Do you know that? Let me tell you something. Most rich people picking no get money. You know why? Because they don't feel the need to work or aspire or want to be something. You understand? You know, my mom died when I was 11. You know, I'm the last one of 5 kids. So from a young age, I knew what I wanted to do. You understand? I fought to do this music. I come from a family where it's school. When you finish school, go and work for Popsy. Do you understand? So this music is something I had to fight for and work hard for. So, you know what I'm saying? To become Davido wasn't anything like, say, Popsy help me or anything. Of course, my dad has played a very key role in my career, for sure, as a mentor, as a supporter and everything. But I feel like if you want to, no matter who you are, no matter the background you come from, you have to work.
2013, 2014, when Show Me Your Rosé was like the biggest song in Nigeria, I had an Achilles tendon injury. I couldn't walk for like about 6 months. You know, I used to go to shows with crutches, and before I go on stage, I drop my crutches and jump in. And after that, I keep bleeding after every performance. And at some point, the doctor told me to stay off stage and stay off performing for the longest time. And at that time, my record label left me. I was totally alone. Big up my manager at the time, Kolo. He was, you know, right beside me at every point in time. At that point, I wanted to give up, you know, just a single artist, nobody supporting me, nothing. It was just, you know, you guys, my fans out there, and the few people that kept telling me, yo, your sound is different, you need to keep going, you know? And I kept going, and prayers and God, that was all it took, you know? So if I can do it, trust me, don't try to be the next me, because you might not get it right. Just try to be the first you, because that is the only way that you will stand out and be a legend in your own world. So saying that, I want you guys to know that life is not as hard as people make it look. Try to live your life like water. No matter how they cut you, they leave no scars, you know? But have no foes, have not too many friends, but believe in those that you believe in, because when you believe and share positive energy to the universe, it comes right back to you.
It's a funny one though. I remember this one vividly. I just started Flatmates. Back then, not the new Flatmates, like some 15, 16 years ago. After I graduated from the University of Lagos, so I wanted to do my own thing, and I started shooting Flatmates. But there was no money to even take tapes sometimes to TV stations, because I'll be the one to shoot sometimes myself, carry the camera, shoot, write on a paper that we use only one paper that you read, okay, but say your line, say my own. So we don't even photocopy scripts because there was no money at the initial stage. So I remember because I had to deliver a tape to MITV to show their own for the week, deliver another one to LTV to show their own for the week, deliver to NTA Channel 2 because the program became so big after the initial one at STV, so every TV station was asking for it. And I trekked, I remember vividly, trekking from MITV in Ikeja to my parents' house in Abeson, Ipaja. Wow. As in I trekked, because there was no other way I would be able to get home. From University of Lagos, I managed with the little money I had to get to MITV and LTV to give them the tapes that would run, because if I didn't, then there would be nothing to show. So I had to go back home, so I had to trek. I think this will be able to inspire people.
When I was starting off, I remember at some point, when I started working with the radio station, you know, I wouldn't want to mention the radio station. Back in Jos those days, the station used to be situated at a 12-story building, you know, and our office was on the 9th floor, and the office didn't have an elevator. There was no functional elevator, so we used to walk all the way to the 9th floor and then back. And then my salary then was 4,000 naira a month.
Wow.
Yes.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, and that 4,000, I used to have one of my colleagues who used to work with me then, so we split it to 2,000 naira every month.
And what year was it?
It's 2004.
Years ago, I had just come to Lagos. I'd like to think that I was about 22 years old at the time. I had my break in the industry, but it wasn't. I was still an up-and-coming actress. So I think it was a year where my big film came out. So yeah, I got roles. I was having offers to work, and then I was paid good money. And then I went to see some group of friends that I had on the island, and they were like the big girls. So then they were buying, there was somebody who brought bags for sale. The bags were like 350,000 naira each. And I mean, I couldn't have afforded it at that time, but it didn't make any sense to me to buy a handbag for 350K when I was doing very okay with my 25,000 naira bags and 15,000 naira bags. And so, because they were, you know, they were like, oh, this will look good on you. You need to, you know, now you're a Lagos girl. You know. I'm like, okay. So out of the pressure, I took 2 other bags. So when I got home, I called the girl who sold the bag. I said, look, would it be possible to return these bags? Because I don't think I really need them. And she was like, oh, sure, why not? And that's how I returned the 2 bags. And I didn't take the bag. So I went back to buy my 15,000, 25,000 naira bag at that point in time, because that was what I felt like, that was what made sense to me at that time. Now, what is the story, the lesson of this story that I just told, what I'm trying to say, in essence, is that there is time for everything. Take your life one step at a time. Do what you can afford. Do not be pressured, because that lifestyle you're looking at today, if you build yourself today, you might just be able to afford even much more than that tomorrow. But the thing is this, you have to start from somewhere. And then not just like you start making money today, you want to have the most like,
Hello, welcome to Timeless Conversations today. My guest is a gentleman who is an epitome of altruism. All the while that I've known him, he has always done stuff just for the common good of everybody around him. In fact, to the extent that I see him as Dr. Selfless. I said Dr. Selfless because he's a medical doctor by training. Please welcome with me Dr. Dokun Adedeji. He prefers to be called Dokun Adedeji.
That's right.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
We also call him Papa. Now, let's talk about you as the person. As much as possible, I will make you talk about things you don't want to talk about. You don't like being the focus. But how would you not be the focus when you are the firstborn of your family?
Yeah, truly I'm firstborn, but sometimes the firstborn also can be silent in the sense that others outshine him or something. But I've lived my life like this. My kid brothers and sisters looking up to me again, and also my parents having so much trust and confidence in my leadership ability over my kids. And I think that has helped me in other things that I've done, I've been able to do.
Okay. Your family is from Igbarodo. No, Igbaroke.
Yes.
In Ondo State.
Yes.
Were you born there?
I wasn't.
But you also have a very strong connection to Igbarodo.
Oh, yeah.
Igbaroke.
You know, the thing, when my father retired and we were living in Lagos, after a while he got tired of living in Lagos, he moved to Igbaroke, and then my mother joined, and they were living there until they died. So we had no choice than to keep visiting them until my mom died some months ago.
Yes.
So, and they have their house there, which is still there. And we're also close to some of the things they do there. And the current Oba, we're also close to him. So, in a sense, because of my parents, we had to be going regularly, and that was how I got a bit close to
Igbaroke. Now, but let's talk about your family life, your early childhood. What did your dad and your mom do that was useful, helpful in turning you guys out the way you have turned out?
You know, I like that because I'm beginning to see the effect of how we were brought up and what they did on our own current lives and the way we are trying to live our family lives. My father was a banker until he retired during the Murtala Muhammad, some funny things as we learned. And then my mom actually did not work because my father said her responsibility was us. And she also took it like that until when she decided to work, then she was doing just some trading, got involved in a lot of things. So she had time to be with us. My father too managed to find time to go. And banking then, it's not like today. It's like cutthroat and then all kinds of stuff. My father still had time. So whenever he came back, I remember in those days, we would sit down as a family, we were talking generally about things. And those things that we used to talk about had been some sort of the things that have guided the way we all have grown up. About values, about systems, about how people should connect with other people and how they connected with us and how we saw them connecting with just ordinary people.
Okay. So what was the decision to send you to school back in, that was Ado-Ekiti?
I remember.
were you that stubborn?
No, I wasn't. You see, we were living in Lagos. I did all my primary school and all those in Lagos. And my parents felt that they wanted me to have a kind of rural background with education being the primary focus and also the Christian nature of it. So I did a variety of exams, I passed them. When I now decided I was going to go to some particular, they said, sorry, you are going to Christ School, Ado-Ekiti. And I think it was the best choice for me as well.
Okay.
And living Lagos, the glamour of Lagos and all the rascality, to then go to Christ School, that was backwater kind of a thing. And then, although again, I got there meeting some friends of mine who also came from Lagos with the same parental leaning that we want you to go somewhere and learn about other people, other things aside from Lagos.
Okay.
So it was fun.
What did that do to you? Apart from the fun aspect of it.
No,
being away for the first time?
Being away for the first time was tough. I remember the first time that we were on holiday, I was to come home. I think my dad couldn't send someone to pick me or something, so I had to come by public transport or something. So for me, it was jarring, never done that before. And also what it helped me to do was to meet a lot of people from different backgrounds. And in those days, it doesn't matter whether we were Christian or not. I mean, I met all kinds of people. And also, he allowed me to settle into education, and also gave me the opportunity of going to some extracurricular things that had built my life today. It was a very good experience for me.
So, what led you to decide to read medicine?
To read medicine? To be honest with you, and I try to be as modest as possible. I was good in all the subjects. I was very good. I was one of the best in my class, in my school at the time. So for me, and again, you know, those days,